welcome to Omega. You're new here, aren't you? I can always tell. Allow me to... Oh, hello, Mocklin. I was just...
Leave, Fargate, now.
Oh, of course, Mocklin. Whatever she wants.
Blasted scavengers. Welcome to Omega, Shepard.
You know who I am?
Of course. We had you tagged the moment you entered the Terminus systems. You're not as subtle as you think. Arya wants to know what brings a dead Spectre to Omega. I suggest you go to Afterlife now and present yourself.
I'll keep that in mind.
Afterlife, now.
I'm receiving quarantine warnings about the slums where Dr. Morden Solus runs the clinic. Anticipate resistance at the transport station. I have also accessed messages between mercenary groups regarding plans to deal with the Archangel. There's a recruiting station at Afterlife that may have information on him.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Mass Effect. In the last episode, we explored a lot of the Normandy and the crash site of the former Normandy. This episode is, as you can see, we've come to Omega, which is kind of like every sci-fi universe, and even non-sci-fi universes seem to have this kind of thing. You kind of city that's all a den of thieves kind of thing. It's like space Ankh-Morpork. Anyway, we've not been on a kind of hub world before, so indeed, if we press either stick in, actually, we get a map, and it's a proper map that shows us where shit is. We're going to head towards, you can see where we're the flashing blue light, we're going to head towards the right at the moment, down towards the markets. Because we're going to do a little bit of side questy stuff before getting on with trying to find Morden Solus. One of the other dossiers, Archangel, also takes place here. Oh, let's talk to this mad prophet. Well, that's just racist. Did he call me sir? Oh, no. I guess not. I've come the wrong way. Boy, it's really easy to get disoriented around here. Great start to an episode there, Doctor. Here we go. So, if we come down here, we'll find a species that wasn't in Mass Effect 1.
We have the largest number of
Human, tell Captain Gavin we not kill anyone today.
workers to your specifications.
I don't know a Captain Gavin. Why would I tell him anything?
Not trust you. Tell Gavin we know his tricks. We not kill anyone today.
I'll just be going.
I not kill anyone today. Tell him.
Well, I'm sure that's relevant to something. But yes, this is a... Oh, they're bloody gone. Those are Vulture. We'll come across them more later. But they are basically a kind of reptile-y, mammal-y thing. They're not very smart. They regenerate health very fast. Obviously, we come across them as an enemy, not just as a NPC. But I'll talk more about that when it becomes relevant. Shops. As you can see here, most shops are terminals rather than being people you talk to. So you just access them, and so we can buy bits of research from here, which isn't particularly useful at the moment because we haven't got any way to actually research the research. But what we have got, however, is Nash and Stellar Dynamics T6 FBA couplings, which we've needed as part of a quest called FBA couplings. Let's buy them for 500 credits, that's pretty measly. And I'll leave the other things for now. But let's talk to the proprietor of the store, Ken.
Hello there. Might I interest you in some salvage tech? Every credit goes toward a ticket to get me off this forsaken rock.
That sounds like a good cause. How's that going?
Not very well. No one will buy anything at the prices Herod forces me to ask for them.
What brought a nice kid like you to Omega?
My pilgrimage. What money I had got stolen within a few days, so I decided to sell salvage parts. You can see how that turned out. Herod's forcing me to sell high, and I can't even afford a ticket off this station.
Why does Herod control your prices?
Herod made me swear not to undercut it, no matter what. He was here first, so it's his right. But no one will buy from me when he's so much cheaper. Can't save enough money for a ticket off the station.
I could go talk to Herod for you. Get him to ease up.
I won't stop you. If you can convince him to lay off, maybe I'll get off this station after all. His shop's up the ramp, near where Marsh sells his goods. Anything you can do will be much appreciated.
I have to go.
Please check with my kiosk to see what I have for sale. And thank you.
So, that gives us a little side quest here, which is Struggling Quarry, I think it's called. Well, this is what I have visualizers for, because, you know, I don't know everything off the top of my head as well. As you'll have probably noticed if you watch, you know, any of my videos. But, here is Omega Market. This is Marsh, not Harrot, but we can buy some useful shit here. We can buy some leg pieces. So as I say, armor comes in legs, chest, shoulders, and helmet. And you can kind of upgrade those as we want. You can buy Fornax, a titillating alien magazine. If you don't know what the word titillating is, probably don't Google it. But I'm going to buy the stimulator conduits, which are leg pieces, which increase storm speed by 10%. That's quite handy. And look at that! Visualizer time, because I have another visualizer for items that's not come up quite yet. So that's for armor pieces and weapons. As we get more of them, I will update that visualizer, of course, as we go along. Now here is Harrot. Harrot is one of my favourite species. He's an Elcor. For those who haven't watched Mass Effect 1, Elcor are unusual. Just as a refresher, if you have watched that series, Elcor communicate mostly with like pheromones and facial expressions, stuff like that other species can't pick up on. So in order to make themselves more easily understood by other species, they preface every sentence with the mood in which it's intended. You'll see what I mean.
Tentatively excited. Welcome, human. What can I get for you?
Tell me about your deal with the Quarrian over there.
Suspicious. If I had made such a deal, I would certainly not be inclined to discuss it. Accusatory. I don't understand how it is any concern of yours.
What if you and I make a deal? You let him set his own prices, and I won't break your legs.
With barely contained terror, you drive a hard bargain, human.
I haven't even started.
Resignation. Very well. I will release the Quarrian from his promise. Conciliatory. To show there is no ill will, I offer you a discount on my own wares.
I have things to do.
Courteously. Have a fine day. Take a look at my kiosk if you want to buy anything.
So, I should have talked about that at the time, but I didn't. You will have noticed there was a point where there was a blue and a red option. This is Charm and Intimidate. If I bring up my thing, you'll notice I have a Paragon meter on the left underneath my face and a Renegade meter on the right. The more good actions you do, the more the Paragon meter fills up. The more nasty actions you do, the more the Renegade meter fills up. You need a Paragon level of a certain level to unlock certain charm options, and similarly a Renegade level of a certain level to unlock certain Intimidate options. That one's an unusual one there, because the one I selected was absolutely Charm, but she was like, do it or I'll break your legs, which definitely feels much more like Intimidate than Charm. But, oh well. We've got a little discount here, so now we can buy some stuff. We can buy a Kuwashi Visor, which increases headshot damage by 10%, which is pretty nice. Buy a model Geth ship for our... so that's the thing, you can buy model ships, and then you slowly build up a little model fleet in your captain's cabin, and I'll kind of discuss that as we go along. There's also the hack module, which is really handy. Doubles the time limit for hacking. I buy that. I think I counted that as research. That officially counts as research rather than an item, so I've got that. So that just slows the timer down on that, which is really handy for some of the more complicated hacks later in the game. Buy it earlier, it's easier. And then the capacitor chestplate, which I think A, looks really cool, and B, reduces the delay before your shields start regenerating by 10%, which is really nice. And there we have it. We've bought a lot of stuff. Let's finish off this little side quest by going back and speaking to Ken again.
I heard you spoke to Harrot. Thank you so much. I hope you find my new prices more to your liking.
So, Ken now adjusts his prices for you accordingly, and I think if you leave it long enough, he will then eventually disappear because he earns enough money from it. But if we want to conclude the quest quicker, we can offer to pay him, and just give him enough money to get off Omega and continue with his pilgrimage.
How much do you need to get off Omega?
I still need 1,000 credits to pay my way, but I couldn't let you do that. This is my mistake on my pilgrimage. It's my problem.
Here you go. 1,000 credits. Get out of here.
Thank you. With this, I can finally continue on my pilgrimage. I'm going to buy my ticket right now. Thank you again.
So, the various bits of research here are now considerably cheaper, but there's no point me buying them yet, because as I say, I cannot use them. So, side quest done, items bought, let's bring up the map again. So, if you notice the top kind of left part of the map generally is Afterlife, which is a club, and you'll notice marked on it is Aria. Omega doesn't have anything like a government or system of laws or anything like that, but Aria, the game says, is the closest that Omega has to a kind of ruler, as in she's a unifying figure that everyone kind of fears in equal measure. Well, somewhere between fear and respect, so she's the kind of largely seen as the boss around here, and we were told by that lovely Batarian on the door to speak to her as soon as we got here. I didn't do that, because I'm a terrible person. But we can speak to her about our plans here, which for now is to track down the Professor Morden Soulis. This game uses Professor and Doctor slightly interchangeably, as do a lot of American-based things, which always annoy me. Doctor is a title, Professor is a job. If he's not working as a professor, he's not a professor, unless it's different. Oh, they're not doing it. There's a fun conversation that goes on between the bouncer and the guy, which is hilarious. But, especially because the bouncer is an Elcor, and as I say, I find their speech fantastic. I should just do a whole episode in Elcor speeches sometime. That could be really funny. But yes. Oh, there's one more thing we can do while we're in here. If we come to the right here, we'll find you can just buy a bottle of brandy from the bar. It's just sitting there. But this is Cerise Ice Brandy, which we need for Dr. Chakwas. I will take that. Thank you very much. And if we come up here, we will find Aria. Let's see if you can recognize her voice actress.
That's close enough.
Stand still.
If you're looking for weapons, you're not doing a very good job. Can't be too careful with dead specters. That could be anyone wearing your face. I was told you're the person to talk to if I have questions.
They're clean.
Depends on the questions. You run Omega? I am Omega. But you need more. Everyone needs more something, and they all come to me. I'm the boss, CEO, queen, if you're feeling dramatic. It doesn't matter. Omega has no titled ruler and only one rule. Don't fuck with Aria. I like it. Easy to remember. If you forget, someone will remind you.
And then I toss your sorry ass out the nearest airlock.
So, what can I do for you? Tell me how you got set up here. That's as privileged as information gets. I have many friends and enemies I keep at varying distances. I don't count you among either. We'll see how useful you prove. Short answer, mind your own damn business. One scan and we're straight to business. People are usually more concerned about who I am. Your death was downplayed, but hardly what I call a secret. I had to make sure it was really you. You could have been anyone, anything. Whatever you need will come out on its own. I'm curious, but Omega doesn't really care about you. I'm looking for Morden Soulis. Do you know where I can find him? The Salarian doctor? Last I heard, he was trying to help plague victims in the quarantine zone. I always liked Morden. He's as likely to heal you as he is to shoot you. What can you tell me about him? Used to be part of the Salarian Special Tasks Group. He's brilliant and dangerous. Just don't get him talking. He never shuts up. If you really need to find him, take a shuttle to the quarantine zone. No guarantee they'll let you in, of course. Thanks for the information. Yes. Just try not to bring the plague back with you.
So, that gives us a lot of information to work on there. We need to get to the quarantine zone in order to find Morden, but first things first, I want to put on our new equipment. Unfortunately, there is only one place where you can change your armor, and it's the captain's cabin on the Normandy, so I guess I'll head back there. Oh, on the way out as well, there's this guy we can talk to.
Captain Gavin, head of the Vorjet Task Force. Got something to report?
There's an awful lot of Vorcha here. What are they planning?
Vorcha? Plan? They're a pestilence, nothing more. If they started planning, we'd all be in big trouble.
What's your job here exactly?
Keep the Vorcha in line. Keep them out of Arya's sight. That's about it.
I'll just be going.
Keep moving.
Ari's expecting me.
So that was a kind of a bit of a, in inverted commas, conclusion from that bit with the moment with the Vorcha earlier. I always find that's really weird because, oh, that's cool. You can see the Normandy. Oh. Yeah, I always thought that was really weird because that feels like that should lead into a side quest, but it never does. Anyway, let's go and change. So this is our kind of cabin. As you can see, there's a model of the Normandy there, and you can collect other models of other ships, which I will show somewhat as we go along. This I've technically shown before, but we're going to put our new bits of armor on. So we're going to put on the visor, which increases our headshot damage, the capacitor chest plate, which decreases shield recharge delay, and the stimulator conduits for our storm speed. So I think we look quite cool now, and also we're just a bit more generally decked out for combat. I think all the default N7 ones just give you a little bit more health, but I found the buffs you get from other bits of armor more useful than that. With that done, let's head back to Omega. So, we'll come back to where the mad prophet was, and try to go this way here. We get to the edges of the quarantine zone.
Complaining is pointless, human. There's a plague. Nobody gets in or out.
You can't keep me out. I live in there.
I'm doing you a favor, lady. If you go in, the guards will cut you down.
You can't do this. Everything I own is in that apartment.
I told you to get lost, lady. The plague has the whole zone quarantined. Nobody gets in.
I'm human, you ass. Humans can't get the plague. Now let me get my stuff out before looters get it.
This thing affects every other race out there. We're not taking chances. Nobody gets in until the plague has run its course.
So you're saying the slums are completely sealed off?
Finally, a human that can hear. Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying.
You can't keep me out. I'm gonna lose all my stuff.
I'm doing you a favor, human. Anybody in the quarantine zone will be dead from the plague or the gangs in a few weeks.
There's a Solarian named Morden Solis in the slums. I've got to get in there to find him.
The doctor? Yeah, crazy bastard opened a clinic in the district a few months ago. The Blue Suns weren't too happy when he moved in. I hear Morden's trying to deal with the plague. I wish him luck, but the area is still locked down. Our orders are to wait until either the plague or the Blue Suns kill everyone. Then go in and clean up.
You can resolve this with violence if you choose the "you can't stop me" option, or, well, you can intimidate him out of the way, except I can't because I've not got high enough renegade. You can fight him, or we can charm our way in, which is probably the best solution here.
Listen, you're stuck here till this quarantine's over. That could take weeks. What you really need is to get this problem solved right now. That's what I do. Solve problems. Let me in and I'll get this district straightened out.
You think you can fix this? Why not? Quarantine is more to keep infected people in anyway. I'll radio ahead, tell them you're coming in.
Wait, you're stopping me, but not them? You son of a bitch.
You don't have a grenade launcher, lady. Get lost.
Fortunately, humans are immune to the plague.
The reason Miranda points that out is because you can technically do this obviously at any time in the game, as with almost any quest in here, and it's very much possible you might have non-human squad mates by this point, at which point it will... I think you have to swap out to humans. Never actually done it because it's not recommended to do anything other than Morden first for reasons which I'll explain, but yeah. Well, we're getting right towards the end of the episode, but I'll just level everyone up before that. We'll give Shepard Operative 1, we'll give Jacob Sentry Ammo, and we'll do Improved Warp or Overload. Warp, I think, on Miranda. Warp is handy because it stops things from regenerating. We'll be fighting a lot of regenerating stuff in this mission. But as I say, I reckon we'll hold there. So thanks very much for watching. I've been the Doctor, and this has been Mass Effect. We've come through to the quarantine zone, where Morden Solis has his clinic. Next episode, we'll be going further into the quarantine zone in search of the Doctor. Thank you very much, and good day.